Hi students, I am Bazi from Meslover Dizzy Classroom. In previous session, we learned about how all the water resources are distributed throughout the world and also the importance of water cycle and importance of water in our daily activities and in our daily life. Now we have to know about how the demand of water increased and how the wastewater is generated and how it will be treated and how we have to do various types of conservation techniques. You know how the demand of water increased nowadays. Whenever if you ask to your grandparents or any old people and how is their life in those times, whether they have access to the modern gadgets like TVs, computers, cell phones, even the electricity, and also a better transport facilities and different types of vehicles, and also even the variety dishes present in the hotels and better availability of education and even the luxurious buildings and lifestyle. You know, some grandparents may have all this access because they are rich, but most of the people in those days they don't have accessibility to all these modern gadgets or modern lifestyle, you know. But today the situation is changed because almost all of us have all the access to all these modern gadgets or modern technology, and we enjoyed all these facilities today, and all these facilities create a lot of demand on food supply, that is meat supply or from the croplands, and also it creates a lot of demand on industries to produce lot of gadgets or various types of forest products, and also it increase demand on transportation and better utilization of road network facilities, and also it creates demands on water supply in urban areas. You know, all these things are created lot of demand and pressure on supply of water. We are all belongs to middle class families, but the middle class family is the key contributor of global marketing system, and also it increased our incomes, and this income rising also changed our lifestyles and our requirements and our needs. You know, it takes 1300 liters of water to produce 1 kg of wheat and 3400 liters of water to produce 1 kg of rice, but 15,500 liters of water is required to produce 1 kg of meat. It accounts for 70% of water consumption in both agriculture and horticulture and animal husbandry. Industrialization putting lot of demand and pressure on water resources. It accounts for 20% of global water consumption. Everything that is from clothing or modern gadgets or other things, and almost even the production of electricity requires vast amount of water. In other hands, most of the people living in developing countries like in India, they move from rural to urban areas. And they move to cities, and also it creates demand on water distribution system, sanitation, wastewater treatment facilities need to be installed, which generating demand on supply of water. While in developed countries like America, its old supply system have plenty of leaks. In this manner, with increasing population, a lot of demand is increased on water supply. At the same time, it also pollutes all the water resources present on the planet, especially from the waste coming from agriculture in the form of pesticides, insecticides, which are reaching to the nearby water body during rainfall, and also the waste which is released by industries at the river banks or nearby water bodies. They also mixing lot of waste or pollutants directly into the water bodies. And the urban activities, especially in our cities, from our homes and offices, schools, almost all the wastewater generated and which are directly mixed in nearby water bodies, almost all these things causes lot of pollution. In certain areas, they don't have much access to water and sanitation. In certain areas, the water become very scarce, even though don't have much access to drinking water as well as sanitation. They fetch most of the time for collecting drinking water from far areas or any ditches or any other nearby water bodies. Due to this type of problems, most of the children, especially the girls, might not be sent to schools and they may miss the education. What happens if you don't have a tap with clean running water? When there is no tap in a house of villages, women and children have to walk for hours just to take water. Walking for water can take all the day. Even the water they collect is dirty. When they drink, they often get sick. You know, about 750 to 780 million people living without safe drinking water. And also 1 in 3 people live without decent toilets. That is, lot of people without toilets around the world. Where they go, many people have go outside that scary, dirty and dangerous places. And the waste gets mixed with water and germs and microbes can get into drinking water, which making you sick. As a result, 500,000 children die in every year. For every 15 seconds, one child lost their life. More than that of AIDS, diabetes or any major diseases. You know, this is only due to unsafe drinking water. You know, almost all the children throughout the world, they are suffering with lack of drinking water. Even if the water is available, it is not safe. But in our lives, we are very lucky because we have much accessibility of water in our daily life, which is provided by our local municipal bodies or municipal authorities. Here the situation is completely reverse. We consume lot of water in our daily life for our daily activities like flushing of water in toilets, and also we open our taps while brushing, and we also use more and more water while bathing and for cleaning of our utensils, and also different activities we are consuming a lot of water because we have much accessibility of fresh water, but we don't have any importance of that each and every drop of that water. From all these activities, we generate lot of wastewater which are directly released into our sewage canals. You know, the water which is generated from all the household purposes or from offices or from commercial complexes or from hospitals or from schools and colleges and also from theaters, and all these collectively they are called as sewage water. and this water is blackish in color, and most of this water contains impurities of human waste and also different types of fruits and vegetable waste and oils, greases or different types of animal and human waste, and we collectively call it as sewage. And where does this sewage goes? What happens when all the sewage, if mixed in nearby water body like our river Krishna, definitely we will get sick and we will face different types of diseases in our life. But almost all the water in our city which is cleaned by our headwater works and which are pumped and distributed throughout the city. But what happens when we release this much of wastewater and how it must be treated? And this water is treated by our municipal authorities. After that, they will directly release it into water bodies. One of my students asked that how this water is treated and how this sewage water is converted into normal water. This sewage water must be treated in various phases. It may be through physical, chemical and biological processes. Most of the sewage water is sent to the sewage treatment plant where it has different types of equipments to treat the wastewater. First this water is passed through bar screens where the floating materials or heavy materials like sticks, rags, plastic covers and other waste materials should be filtered. From the bar screens, it should be sent to the grit chamber where the water makes to allow to settle. Almost all the large particles like pebbles, soil or sand particles or other grit which is settled at the bottom of the grit chamber. After that, this water is allowed to pass through another tank which is called as sedimentation tank, where almost the fine material or fine sand particles or fine dust particles and the particles like fecus, almost all these things should be allowed to settle in the tank which we called as sedimentation tank, where almost all the particles are settled at the bottom, which we called as sludge. Next, this water is sending to the skimming tank, where the floatable materials like oil, grease and other things should be removed by the scrapers. And then the water become very clear, which we called as clarified water. And this clarified water next sent to a special tank where the microorganisms are involved in the activity of decomposition. In this water also fine particles of organic matter must be present. Hence, the bacteria present in the water, it degrades the organic matter into simple inorganic forms. And this tank we call as aerobic tank, in which bacteria decomposes all the organic matter, and again it's sent to the sedimentation tank where all the fine particles are settled down at the bottom and remaining water is become very pure and they leave into the nearby water body. And the sludge present in the grit chamber as well as sedimentation tank, they are removed and they are sending to the anaerobic tank where all this material will be degraded and converted into compost, which are used as fertilizers in agriculture field. In this way, the complete sewage water which are generating in our cities, they are sending to the sewage treatment plant. In this way, they are treating almost all the wastewater into purified water. Hence, they charged the taxes to treat all this waste. Hence, students, don't waste water. It may also increases the tax on us, because if you are wasting the lot of water, it also demands on the sewage treatment plant, and it in turns it increases the tax. Why? Because how can they treat such a large quantity of sewage water? It requires lot of money, manpower, transportation. Almost all these things are involved in the treatment of sewage water. If you are wasting a lot, that means it increases the demand and pressure on the treatment. Hence, don't waste water. And how you have to reduce the water consumption in your daily life, and how you have to conserve the water. And whenever in olden days people are using different types of techniques, especially they have rainwater harvesting pits in their homes to collect the rainwater. The water conservation techniques, how we have to conserve the water techniques in agriculture field or in industries or even in our daily life. We use various types of methods to conserve the water, because especially in agriculture fields, the modern techniques like drip irrigation system, rain gun technology are very important to use and to preserve and to conserve the water, especially in areas where they depends on groundwater. They should use all these techniques. Whereas in aquaculture and other fields, the water is very important and they should use modern techniques. Whereas in industries, they should follow the different types of norms of our state and central government according to Central Pollution Control Board, because establishment of industry during that time, they have to follow the policies of state and central governments. If they follow the policies, automatically the water, it will be preserved and controlled. In our daily life, especially if you see in hilly areas, they construct different types of check dams and rock fills and other things to conserve the water. And also in our daily life we use for various purposes, and we must be preserved, we must be conserved for various daily activities, and our negligence is the only reason for destruction of anything on this planet. Students, be responsible in your activities. You have to think globally and act locally to conserve and preserve the water, because without water we can't live on this planet. It is the precious gift of the nature. Till now we understand that various types of importance, distribution and water cycle, and also different types of techniques used in the treatment of water, as well as how the demand of water increases in our daily life and how we have to take care of water. Almost all these things are discussed, but you must be very clear about your work, about your responsibilities. Be responsible in consumption of water, because it is the precious gift from the nature. Okay students, we will meet again with another topic at another time. Until then, bye bye.